that is the most seen by the average person? Nope. 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 One red American Beauty rose. It is the symbol of the secret destiny of America. It is the international symbol of Marxist socialism. It is the symbol of the birth of the New World Order. You need to get the song called The Rose and listen to it again. Because even when things are going against it, the seed is lying beneath the snow in the cold of winter, when their movement has to be suppressed, and in the spring, when the sun warms the earth and melts the snow, the seed comes to life, and the germ begins to grow, and the rose begins to open its petals. Pretty song, huh? You never knew it had a message, did you? It gives courage and hope to all the socialists of the world. What is the message of the song? Who knows the lyrics? What's the message of the song? If you're afraid to die, you cannot grow. Who knows the song? The soul that is afraid to die never lives. It's giving courage to these people. You may have to die for the fulfillment of the great plan. Don't be afraid. For even though it is in the cold of the winter snow, the seed is just waiting for the summer's warmth of spring. Jihad program. Give your life willingly for the completion of the great plan. Do whatever's necessary. You see, it's going on right under our noses and we don't even know a thing about it. What do? After they blew up the building in Oklahoma City? And make no mistake about it, they blew up the building to demonize American patriots, disarm American citizens, create draconian legislation to enable them to do what they need to do as one more step toward their New World Order. They had a memorial service, and you see President Clinton and Hillary holding the one red rose. And they handed one red rose to everyone who went in there. And they gave one red rose to all the rescuers and the police officers and everybody who took part in the rescue effort. Laughing at us and telling the world what it was all about. Timothy McVeigh may be guilty. But if he is, he was used. He's a patsy. Because he's not a socialist. I don't know anything about Terry Nichols, but I know that much about McVeigh.
He might have driven a truck, but he didn't like the filler charges.
Yeah. And I think McVeigh was honestly the kind of guy, if he had known there was going to be anybody in the building, he wouldn't have done anything. Tell you the truth. Not because I know him personally, but because we have investigated his entire life. He is not a racist. He was not a member of any militia. He was an American patriot who wanted to be a member of United States Army Special Forces. He went there, he tried out, he passed all the physical trials and tests and everything. When they asked him one question, if we give you an order to assassinate someone, will you carry out that order with no reservations and no hesitation? And he said no. They said, you can't be a member of U.S. Army Special Forces. Put him out the door, and he was recruited by the Central Intelligence Agency on the same day. Who are these people? Everybody take out a dollar bill. Right now. $1 bill. Now I'm going to amaze you. You see, they always make themselves known. They always speak to each other in symbols. There is no mystery about any of this if you understand how to read their language. At the highest levels of this initiatory group, there is what's known as the Order of the Trapezoid. The head of the Temple of Set in San Francisco is a member of the Order of Trapezoid. He's also a member of the United States Army Intelligence, G2. So is his top 2 lieutenants in the Temple of Set. What is the Temple of Set? It's the Church of Satan. They have a saying in the New Age movement, as above, so below. You've all heard the reference to the pyramid below the pyramid? What are they talking about? They're talking about the concept of the way things work and are brought into being in the world. Okay? Why do you see so many triangles everywhere? Why is everything a triangle? The food triangle, the this triangle, the nutrition triangle, the yield sign triangle, the triangle on tanks in the Army. What's this with all the triangles? And now you're seeing pyramids spring up everywhere, all over the place. Well, there's a method to their madness. This is the Trinity. What does the Trinity represent? How things are created and brought into the world. It is reflected in religion as the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. In the mysteries, it is thought, desire, and action. Thought, desire, and action. Look at the reverse of the Great Seal of the United States of America. What do you see? You see a pyramid. What's a pyramid doing on a dollar bill for the United States of America? This is in Egypt. Why would we have a pyramid on our dollar bill? No other reason than to send a message. Look behind the pyramid. What do you see? Come on, speak up.
Light.
No. What do you see behind the pyramid? Look there. What's growing there? Anything? Desert. Nothing is there. We left the old world because it was barren, wasteland. There was nothing for us there. We came to the new world, and what do you see in front of the pyramid? Things beginning to sprout and grow. We have planted the seed of the great plan, the New World Order, in the New World. And it is taking root, and it is growing. There are 13 courses on the pyramid. You can count them. The 13 courses are, 13 is the symbol of the phoenix, death and rebirth, resurrection. You see at the top of the pyramid the eye. The eye is the reminder to everyone who sees it that we are everywhere, we see everything, there's nothing that we don't know. On the bottom course of the pyramid there are Roman numerals. What are they? No. Read me those Roman numerals in order. Read them to me. M what? Okay. I knew it, but I want you to participate. If you don't participate, you cannot learn. Thank you. What does that mean? What does that say? 1776. Everybody says that's the birth of the Constitution. When was the Constitution born? 1789. This isn't the birth of the Constitution. 1776, what else was born? The Bavarian Illuminati. Everybody says, this stands for the birth of the Bavarian Illuminati. Weishaupt created the Illuminati. More bullshit. It's not true. The Illuminati has existed throughout the history of humanity. Wasn't born with Weishaupt. Weishaupt created a Bavarian order of the Illuminati and made it publicly known. That was a no-no. Wasn't supposed to happen. Let's find out what they're talking about here. Because the modern form of the Illuminati and the birth of the Great Plan occurred in the year 1110. What happened in 1110? The Knights Templars conquered Jerusalem and crowned the king, excuse me, not the Knights Templars, but the Crusaders conquered the city of Jerusalem and crowned the king of Jerusalem. What was his name? That's your homework. Find out who was the first king of Jerusalem crowned on the Temple Mount in 1110. I'll tell you this, he was one in the line of the Merovingian kings. Nope. Okay, let's see what this is all about. Let's see if we can decipher this. I'll tell you we can, and we will, and it's going to blow your mind. Let's see what this really refers to. And we'll use the order of the trapezoids formula for enciphering, and the New Age concept of the pyramid beneath the pyramid, and as above, so below. Remember, as above, so below. So, what is a trapezoid? A trapezoid is a pyramid on top of a pyramid, and remember it has various faces to it. But you don't need the other faces. Let's just plug this in. M, D, C. C, L, X, X, V, I. What have we got? What does it say across the top? MCX, what is that? 1110. I was right. What is their goal? Is their goal what I've been telling you it is all day? Well, let's find out. What are these people up to? What do they want to do? Remember I told you their goal was to destroy all existing governments, all existing religions, and shackle the mob. And how do you do that? What's DC? 600. What's LX? 60. What's VI? 6. Their goal is to seat the Antichrist upon the throne of the world. And you've been carrying it around in your pocket forever. Who is the Pope? He is the Emperor of Rome. Rome never died, never faded away. It became the Vatican. What is the Vatican? It is the priesthood of all of the old pagan religions of Rome, built upon the deception that they are Christian. Can man change the orders of God? Can man change the orders of God? Can man elevate himself above God? No. Then why did the Pope change the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday, the venerable day of the worship of the sun Osiris? Why in the outer courtyard of the Vatican is there a temple of the sun, an obelisk, and a reflecting pool built as a fountain around the base of the obelisk? Because what we're talking about in Dealey Plaza and in Washington, D.C. exists also in the Vatican. And I'm not trying to insult Catholics, I'm just trying to tell you the truth. You can believe in whatever you want to believe. I will never argue with you about that or try to stop you in any way. In fact, I'll fight and die for your right to do that. The King of Jerusalem founded an order of knights shortly after he was crowned, called the Knights Templar. Their first task was to explore the caverns and tunnels below the Temple Mount and find whatever relics of the past that they could find. They became the richest order in the world. They became the first international bankers. They were, to my knowledge, the first communist. Actually, that's not true, because the Gnostics were the first communists. But the Knights Templar became the second large group of a communistic order that existed in the world. Their symbol is two knights riding on one horse. When they joined the order, they had to give up all their worldly possessions, goods, money, clothes, property, everything, to the order. And they were only given according to their need in the position that they were assigned to perform by the order. What is that? Communism. They didn't own anything. They didn't have anything. They were never given anything unless they absolutely needed it to do whatever job they were assigned. And they were given only what food and clothing they needed for that particular day or that time or wherever they were or how much labor that they were performing. They were communists. Were they created by the Vatican or by the Church? No. That's the biggest misconception you could ever have in your whole life. No, they weren't. The Church never even noticed them, didn't care about them until they became powerful and rich and wealthy and started to own lands and lend money to kings and queens. Then the Pope called the head of the order to Rome and didn't ask them anything. Instead, what he did was legitimize them as a holy order of the church, whether they wanted to be or not, and gave them the red cross to wear upon their tunic. The Pope, as a mission, said that they were to protect the pilgrims going to Jerusalem. Did they ever do that? Did they ever protect the pilgrims going to Jerusalem? No. They never did. It's more BS thrown out for the sheeple. What did they do? They protected the church's interests. They protected their interests. They conquered. They had secret alliances with Saladin that the world doesn't know about. They brought the mysteries from the Middle East to Europe and practiced them. They created the great plan after their master Jacques de Molay was burned at the stake in the efforts of the Pope and the King of France to destroy the Knights Templar when they felt they got too powerful. Where did the pirates come from? Did you know that the Knights Templars had one of the largest fleets in the world? Did you know that one of their symbols is the skull and bones? Did you know that on every grave of the Knights Templars in Europe is the skull and bones? Did you know that when the Templars were destroyed by the Pope and the King of France, the entire fleet escaped and became the pirates? Didn't you ever wonder why the pirates were called the Brotherhood? Didn't you ever wonder why they could all sail into the same port and never fight against each other? Didn't you ever wonder where the Templars' fleet went? Didn't you ever wonder where the skull and crossbones came from? Didn't you ever wonder why the Russell Trust at Yale University is called the Skull and Bones? George Bush is a member. He's a Knights Templar. And many other great men who have occupied high positions of this government. Their goal is revenge for the persecution of men of intellect and science throughout the Middle and Dark Ages by the church, by the kings and queens, by the governments, and by the ignorant mob. That's why they want to destroy all existing governments, destroy all existing religions, and put the shackles on the mob. Now, if you think they're wrong in doing this, you go back and study the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages and the Inquisition. And then you come back and tell me that these guys haven't got a right to be pissed off. They do. Does anybody in here know how many people were murdered in the name of the church? In the name of Jesus Christ, who would not have condoned one bit of it. It's not the Jesus Christ that I know from reading my Bible. Does anybody know how many people have been murdered by kings and queens because they refused to be enslaved by them? Or because they had an idea that was different? Or because they read books? That's all they did, was read a book. Got caught reading a book. Anybody know? Look in history and find out. It's another reason why you should never, ever let church and state become reality. Church and government have to be separate. I don't care what church you belong to. You try to make your church part of government, and I'm going to step in the middle. Because I know what happens when that happens. Members of the same church can't agree with each other. How many different denominations of so-called Protestantism is there? Huh? Did you know that even in the beginnings of this country, people had to flee from colony to colony because different colonies had different dogmas and different preachings and teachings? And if you disagreed with it or said something that was out of line with your local minister, you could be burned at the stake here in America. How many of you knew that? It's the truth. That's why I get so angry when somebody comes up and tells me this is a Christian government. Which Christian? Where did you come from? Who taught you this nonsense? Our founding fathers did everything they could to prevent that kind of thing from happening. And at the same time, allow you to worship at whatever altar, whatever God, whatever denomination, whatever dogma you wanted to. And that's really the key to freedom and the success of the first 150 years of this country. Unless you think I'm attacking Christians, I am a Christian. But I'm a Christian that Jesus Christ would want to know. Yes, sir.
In all of these situations you referred to, too, weapons was a primary key element that they were disarmed prior to being killed.
That's right. In every period of tremendous mass murder and genocide that's ever occurred in the history of the world, the target was usually, in every case, disarmed just prior to it happening. And I'm telling you right now, that's the key to the big push to disarm the American people, is if you don't fit their definition of the mental attitude for the citizen of the New World Order, you're going to be exterminated. They don't want you here. And part of their plan is to reduce the overall population of the earth by a tremendous amount. The target population for North America, I'm not talking about the United States, I'm talking about North America, is 100 million people. They make no secret of this. They've written about it. You want your eyes to be opened? Go read The Aquarian Conspiracy. Who wrote that?
Does that include Mexico?
Who?
Does that include Mexico?
No, you're wrong. Who was it back there? Marilyn Ferguson. She knows. She's a part of the Aquarian Conspiracy, and she's telling you the truth in the book. And you know what she says in the book? We're going to eliminate these dudes. You think she's talking about moving you somewhere else? No. She's talking about you're going to be eliminated, removed from the face of the earth, killed. They want us out of the way. Freedom cannot exist in the New World Order. They want total control of everybody from now on. Okay? Everybody understand all of this stuff? That's why it's so important that you research the secret orders. The secret orders have existed since the beginning of mankind, when the first man learned something that nobody else knew and said, all right, I'll start the fire tonight if you'll all be good, and if I can have that woman and I get the comfortable place in the cave, and you all go hunt meat for me because I'm hungry, and I'm just going to sit here and wait for you to come back. First priest, first king. Since that time, knowledge has been used to control other people. The common man was not allowed to read books, or have knowledge, or learn, or go to school. It was a beast of burden. The worker. Okay?
What was the name of the Aquarian?
The Aquarian Conspiracy.
Author?
Marilyn Ferguson. A lot of other things out there you need to read. So you pass these things by because they don't interest you. I'm not a New Ager. I'm not even going in that section. I'm a Christian, so I'm not going to read any other religious books. Secret societies? Illuminati? No such thing. How do I know? Rush Limbaugh told me. Excellence in broadcasting. Allison does the greatest Rush Limbaugh impression that you've ever seen in your life. Yes, Gary?
I've heard Allison's great. If you take the number 666 times 3, it comes out 1998 too. And to numerology, I guess that means that's going to be a great year for them.
No, it's going to be a bad year for us. It's going to be a great year for them. We don't have much time left. Clinton gave us the time label. He said 1,000 days, and that was on the night of his address to Congress on the state of the nation. He told us 1,000 days. We're going to see the sun set, and we are preparing our children for the new dawn. Now you better take what he says seriously, because he's not joking. He's not lying this time. State of the Union message.
Where's it?
I played it on my broadcast just so to make sure everybody got it a second time. And I'll probably play it again just so that they get it for the third time. And you'll be surprised how many people still won't get it even then.
Circus act and all that.
Yep, circus act and all.
Those other guys like Dole and them, they knew what he meant?
Absolutely. Bob Dole is a 33rd degree Freemason. You really think he's on your side because he calls himself a Republican? Read Hegel. Read Hegel. It's exactly the way they corrupt the nation. You vote for him because he's a Republican. And you're a Republican, conservative, upstanding, American traditional constitutionist, right? So you're going to vote for the Republican, who happens to be a lying piece of crap, who's not a Republican at all. He's an illuminist, pushing us into the New World Order. Most people vote Republican because their parents were Republican. They don't even know what the word means. And if you took the meaning of Republican and applied it to any of the candidates who call themselves Republican, you'll see that they're not even close. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Under the pyramid on the ball, what is that in Latin?
1776. Novus Ordo Seclorum. Literally what it means is announcing the birth of the New World Order. The birth of the new secular order. Read it. Septus. Annuit Septus. Announcing the birth of. Down below, the New World Order. The new secular order. It's been on our dollar bill all this time. If you'll notice, one of the words have been intentionally misspelled so that there would be exactly 13 letters. Intentionally, because there had to be 13. Everything there is 13. 13, 13, 13. Everything is 13.
The extra C in septus?
Pardon?
The extra C in septus?
No, it's seclorum that was misspelled. Seclorum was misspelled intentionally so that there would be 13 letters in Novus Ordo Seclorum. Pardon?
Do you have a list of recommended
Yeah.
readings?
Pardon?
Do you have a list of like recommended readings or where to go?
No, but I did a tape in the Mystery Babylon series that has the whole hour as a bibliography. I did it on tape. Yes, sir.
Bill offers a tape too by Don Motis, I think it was. He was a member of the Illuminati. And he goes into great detail on just what you just discussed too.
How does one determine who these Masons are? Like you said, Bob Dole. Is there a list they publish?
No, they're secret orders. Unless the member lets it be known who he is, the only other way to tell is by the symbology of their language or what they do. But see, Who's Who, when they ask somebody to be in Who's Who, they ask them to provide a list of all of their organizations and associations and degrees and all that kind of stuff. Bob Dole gave it to them. It's right in there. You want to know who they are? Go to Who's Who and start looking in there first. If you can't find out, call their office and say, I would like to have a list of the membership organizations to which Congressman so-and-so belongs to. And if it's not listed on there, call him up. Or go and talk to him. And when you walk in and talk to him, give him the handshake of the Master Mason. And say, are you a traveling man? And if he gives you the handshake back and says, yes, I'm traveling from west to east, you got your answer. That's how I verified that Bo Gritz was a Freemason. I heard him say it on the Billy Goodman show one time, and then I heard him say it at a speech he gave in Las Vegas in July of 1990, I believe it was. Pardon? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Bo Gritz? That was in Visalia.
He- Yeah, but I'm talking about when I heard him say, he said, I'm a 32nd degree Freemason of the Scottish Rite. And then later he denied it. Well, he didn't know that I knew what that meant. And so that night, he came into the ballroom there, and I was standing there, and I thought, I'm going to give this guy the test. And you know why I was there? Because I loved him. I was one of his greatest followers. Everywhere I went, I said, listen to Bo Gritz. I walked up to him. I gave him the handshake of the Master Mason. He immediately grabbed me, took me into the 5 points of fellowship, and whispered Mahabone in my ear. You know what I did? I said, Mahabone my ass. Pushed him away, I walked out, and that's the last time I've ever said anything good about Bo Gritz. So I know how to play their game. You don't know how to do that. You can learn, though. Get in those old books, and it'll teach you exactly how to do it. What the signs are, the passwords, the symbols, the handshakes, everything. You're not supposed to have access to those books, but if you visit enough old bookstores, you'll find them.
Is Morals and Dogma probably one of the best?
Morals and Dogma is one of the best for understanding the real intent of the order, because right in there, Albert Pike admits that their God is Lucifer and that they are a religion. He says it in clear, plain language. Okay, let's take a short break, folks. I know you all need it. Let's take a short break, and then we'll get into some other videos and slides. And, well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this first. Let's go through the beginning of this evolution of the space program, and then we'll take our break, short break, before we get into the other stuff. So if we can, Doyle, who's the video guy? Who's the video senior expert par excellence dude that does the video? Here he is. Thank you, sir.
Do you recall the approximate number of the tapes that you do the bibliography in the Babylon series?
It's in there. It says bibliography. Just get the list from my wife. Pardon?
The book, Our Story of Atlantis. You know about that one?
Story, yeah.
Our Story of Atlantis?
The New World Order was created on the basis of a paper written by Sir Francis Bacon called The New Atlantis. Yeah. Okay, this doesn't require any narration, just...
It has been made with the best equipment. Truth is not very much. Please take that into consideration when viewing this tape, and understand that we have done the best possible job that we can do under the circumstances to bring you a quality documentary. All footage is authentic, and all aerial shots were taken over the test site. Introducing General of the Army Douglas MacArthur with portions of a speech delivered before the Corps of Cadets of the United States Military Academy at West Point on May 12, 1962. The General spoke without a prepared address, without even notes.
You now face a new world, a world of change. The thrust into outer space of the satellite spheres and missiles mark the beginning of another epoch in the long story of mankind. In the 5 or more billions of years, the scientists tell us, it has taken to form the Earth. In the 3 or more billion years of development of the human race, there has never been a more abrupt or staggering evolution. We deal now not with things of this world alone, but with the illimitable distances and as yet unfathomed mysteries of the universe. We are reaching out for a new and boundless frontier. We speak in strange terms of harnessing the cosmic energy, of making winds and tides work for us, of creating unheard synthetic materials to supplement or even replace our old standard basics, to purify seawater for our drink. of mining ocean floors for new fields of wealth and food, of disease preventatives to expand life into the 100 of years, of controlling the weather for a more equitable distribution of heat and cold, of rain and shine, of spaceships to the moon, of the primary target in war no longer limited to the armed forces of an enemy, but instead to include his civil population, of ultimate conflict between a united human race and the sinister forces of some other planetary galaxy.